Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wim Wammelstein, and you're watching Panic Pro Wrestling. We have an action-packed, jam-buster-filled episode here for you tonight. Today, whenever you are watching, we are on YouTube. We want to thank you so much for watching, and it is a jam-packed filled episode of Panic Pro Wrestling. We're bringing it to you for experience. Our first match of the evening, the Taxman Kyle continues his quest to collect and audit the taxes of those against Messremb the Mountie. Coming out first is Messremb. Of course, he is a fierce competitor, joining in, as we've been told, with Team Canada in their battle against the Team USA. He is well known for his Vulcan death grip that he can apply. Incredibly agile, incredibly physical. It's going to be a tough test for the Taxman to beat him today. Of course, here comes the Taxman, unsuccessful in his last two attempts to collect taxes from Runic Beast, the Nurse, and the Lumberjack, Illseraec. So now, of course, he's going to attempt to collect taxes from the Mountie. Canadian taxes are a little bit different than American taxes, so this shall be interesting to see what kind of maneuvers he applies to make sure that Mess stops evading the tax code. Tries for a suplex really early in the match, but that's not going to fly as Mess weasels his way out of that. Test of strength there into a drop toe hold. Oh, tried to go for an Impaler DDT, it looked like, but Mess countered that into a drop toe hold as well. Stiff drop across. European uppercut. Of course, Canada, once upon a time, still part of a British Commonwealth. So, fighting for Europe in European wars, that would be likely where a Canadian would learn that European uppercut that we just see there. The meat of the forearm driving into the chin region of the Taxman. There's a DDT there from Kyle. Drags him away from the ropes. He's going to try for something early. No, messes up early enough. Into the corner he goes. Over the ropes. Trying to get him counted out, but it is much too early in the match for that. No, not enough damage has been accumulated for him to stay outside the ring for a full 20 seconds. Of course, we at Panic Pro Wrestling use a 20-second count, much like the Japanese wrestling. A Hurricane Rana there. What a nice move. Followed by a stiff lariat. Sizing each other up. Some knife-edge chops from Mess. He is, of course, a very accomplished martial artist before his time in the fake Mounties. Into the ropes, but Mess is able to block the rounding elbow strike there, looking to use the very point of his elbow. A dangerous maneuver to use because if you contact it the wrong way, you can actually end up doing more damage to yourself. A burr or a break in the elbow cap itself if you're not terribly careful. Oh, the claw! Big slam there from Mess. Pins him. 1, 2. Kick out at 2. Big DDT there from Kyle. That's a Boston Crab that he's got locked in there. Of course, also known as the Walls of Jericho, used by Chris Jericho in the WWE, used previously by a number of different individuals in WCW. It is a painful maneuver that stretches both the quad ligaments and stretches the back. Very, very painful to lock in. Kyle, of course, becoming quite the master of painful submission moves. He had broke out that chicken wing. Oh, here's a pin. 1, 2. Kick out at 2. He broke out that crossface chicken wing in last week's episode that we saw, which is one of the most painful submission holds that I've ever had the misfortune of experiencing in my entire life. Stomps him in the back. That's a Watakatami arm bar there. It wrenches the elbow up at the point of ingress and can be said to be very painful. Again, another incredibly painful submission maneuver there used by the Taxman. Back body drop. Picks him up by the hair. Big elbow to the top of the head. Tried to go for a kick there, countered into a dragon screw by Mess. That is a luchador-esque maneuver that has become very popular also in Japan. Not seen nearly as much over here in American-style wrestling. Kyle's got him up, hits him with the go to sleep. Not sure why he's not trying to pin him. He's up to the top rope now. Big diving elbow drop right to the stomach region. Right into the solar plexus of Mess. Driving that point home with the heel of his boot as well. Big claw slam. That iron claw originated, or at least a big kick out from 2 there from Kyle. Very, very much used by Kerry Von Erich, the late, great Kerry Von Erich. Of course, never used in a slam format. Just goes to show you the immense strength of Mess to be able to perform a move like that. Here's another pin. 2. Kick out at 2. Oh, fireman carry neck breaker. You see there that the back, the protrusion there at the back of the base of the skull. Here's a pinfall by Mess. 1, 2, 3. Mess, your winner. And Kyle unsuccessful in his collecting of taxes again. He'll have to try again next week. What a decisive victory there by Mess for Team Canada. It'll be interesting to see where this goes from here.
Wow, the stinger!
Timmy, I'm from the Dream Come True Fantasy Foundation. You ready to wrestle?
You bet! Mom! Dad, it's really him! Hold on! Now I'm ready.
It looks so real.
Don't count on Sprite to do anything but quench your thirst.
Welcome back after a message from our sponsors. Our weekly opponent for Paul is in the ring. Bobby is his name. And here comes the Biclop, Swol. He has mentioned that he wants to destroy everything and everyone. And this is where it starts. Circling each other. Manages to work his way in behind. Counter there by Bobby. Throws him into the ropes. Another counter by Bobby. Not off to a good start here for Swole as he's rolled up into a small package. Doesn't even get a 1 count though. Oh my goodness, right into a torture rack. Bobby has no way of escaping this as of right now. It's so locked in, just clenched. Oh, he's feel like he's had enough, so he just drops him into a huge backbreaker. Throws him into the ropes. Big diving lariat. Circling each other again. Attempting to get the measure. Tries to go for a powerbomb, but Bobby is able to use Paul's leverage against him and kind of upturn him. Didn't expect to see this much offense as he's basically just running away from Paul at this point. Sneaks in behind him. That is a Cobra Clutch backbreaker. Incredibly painful, just working away at those back muscles. Tries to go for another powerbomb, but Bobby says no. They're circling again. An elbow from Bobby. Paul's not having that great of a time today. It seems that this opponent might be too much for him to handle. A lot of big talk. Oh, a backbreaker into a body slam. Focusing on those back muscles again. claims that he wants to destroy everybody. Not exactly doing so far. Oh, lifts him up for a pile driver, slamming the top of the head into the canvas. Into the ropes. Another counter by Bobby. Oh, that Russian hammer delivered right to the side of the head. Both clubbing blows. You get the fist and the forearm just delivering everything. There's a pinfall attempt. Didn't even get a 1 count, though. Oh, what a huge power bomb. Driving the knees right in the face. It seems as though Paul has had enough. 2, 3, and that's it. That's all it took. A huge power bomb and then the knees right to the face. And that is it for Bobby. What a power bomb that was. My goodness. Swole pole destroying everything. Our main event of the evening, Dangerous Dan Rudy versus Illseraec. Illseraec, of course, incredibly successful in his match last week against the Taxman. And Dangerous Dan has said that he wants to show just how incredibly talented he is in the ring. Dan, much like Svenish, a scholar of wrestling. It'll be interesting to see the types of moves that he pulls out. Of course, he mentions that his idols are Tommy Dreamer and AJ Styles, so we might see more of a hardcore style here from Dan. I wouldn't be surprised. Coming down to the ring now, Illseraec, the Falcon, the Lumberjack, the man from Boise, Idaho, proprietor, president, CEO of Vape Nation. It'll be interesting to see how these two manage to work against each other. Both very powerful individuals, very strong. You won't see much speed. It'll be a lot of power in between these two in between these two guys for this matchup. Couple of fists to the face after a headlock. Big headbutt there from Illseraec. Lifts him up into a gorilla press before slamming him onto the ground. Drives a knee right into his temple. These two men circling each other. Circling. Big headbutt there from Ills. The intention is sort of like a soccer headbutt, is that you want to drive your forehead into the soft parts of the crown or into the bridge of their nose, causing serious damage. There's a Boston Crab there from Dan. Ill's able to escape by flipping him, using the power of his legs to flip him forward to escape that hold. Oh! Look at the power! Look at the power from that delayed suplex as he was able to hold up all 300 pounds of Illseraec. Big body slam there for Ills, right outside the ring. Slammed him over the ropes. He's got a light tube. Goodness! Breaks it right over the face of Ills. The dust shattering everywhere. Of course, Dan is playing by what he calls Ravens rules, which were the old non-disqualification rules from ECW. Of course, you can still have rope breaks, but the referee will not count. Will not count a DQ. He might warn. There might be some warning of the overusage of weapons, but there will be no DQs from the use of weapons or low blows or anything like that in these matches with Dangerous Dan. Here they go, sizing each other up. Ills laying some stiff chops right into the chest. Some Matt Riddle-esque UFC-type flat palm over the top hand chops. Circling each other again. Dan, strong punches. Ills asking to let up. Couple of stomps right to the stomach, and then mounts with the elbows right to the forehead. You got to be really careful with those. You can cut a guy wide open if you land one of those elbows the right way. You're using the whole forearm and the elbow. It's a very sharp attack, very painful. You need to be very careful, because if you cut somebody else open, that could end the match right there, just via a no contest, a non-continuation, and you won't even get the win. So you need to be really careful with those elbows to not cut open your opponent. You're just looking to do this sort of damage. Lifting knees right into the stomach. And more of those elbows fed in there by Dan. Big gorilla press slam from Illseraec as he just powers him above his head. Just shows the sheer raw strength and power. And we get a pinfall here. 1. Kick out at 1. He gets him up. There's that same fireman carry neck breaker we saw earlier from Mess. Springboard. Big forearm there from Dan. That's the AJ Styles phenomenal forearm. As I said, he is a student of the game, a scholar of professional wrestling, and we're amped to see what he can do here today. A wide variety of moves, I'm sure, as Ills drags him to the canvas with that headlock, just bending him back, squeezing the temples in with that pressure with the forearms. Oh, here we go. He's got the Styles Clash into the canvas, rolls him over. This is it. 1, 2, 3. The winner of this match, Dangerous Dan Rudy, your main event winner. It was really impressive just how quickly he was able to finish off Illseraec, who has been a formidable opponent here. Of course, want to take some time to thank you for joining us here at Panic Pro Wrestling. My name is Wim Wammerstein. And until next time, for everybody here, for Steve and the rest of the gang and the crew, I want to thank you so much for watching Panic Pro Wrestling. Until next time, stay frosty.